Greetings, gumshoes, and welcome to another episode of Silver Screen Sleuths, the show all about having mystery authors on to discuss mystery movies and television shows. With me today is one of the people that helped me launch the Viviana Valentine series. She's so nice and so generous with her time and advice and everything. Nekesa Afia, how are you?
So good. Thank you so much. I love the Viv books. I just reread them. And I know I've been annoying you with questions and like my thoughts and my comments, but every time I pick, I'm like, oh, I have to tell Emily like what such good work she's done. Like, oh my goodness, this book was so good.
I always have people on to start by complimenting me specifically.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course. This is your podcast, so 5 minutes. We'll take 5 minutes to compliment Emily. Your hair looks so good. You're so pretty.
55 to compliment Nekesa because she's like, I love your book so much. Like, when I started writing the Viviana Valentine series, I was like, Italians in New York, how interesting and original. But you have written Harlem Renaissance mysteries. And I'm like, this is wonderful. Should be everywhere. Why are we not talking about this? Because this is like the perfect setting and time for mystery novels. Can you tell us about your series and why you wrote it?
Yeah, so I wrote the Harlem Renaissance series, which will be a total of 4 books. The fourth one comes out in December. It's called No Good Deed. I don't know if I can say that. Oh, I can say that. It's on Goodreads. It's called No Good Deed. So basically, they take place in the 1920s. The first 2 are in Harlem, and the second 2 are in Paris. And it's about a girl who has to solve crime, but she doesn't wanna. She wants to dance and kiss her girlfriend, but then she's gotta solve crime.
Oh, the things that find us, the responsibilities that find us. I just want to smooch and dance, and alas.
I do think that like she would be so like she's so mad at me, and I know she's not real, but like she's so mad at me. Like, why am I doing this to her?
I was just chatting with Libby Cudmore, who writes mysteries as well. And we were talking about how, like, we think of our characters as, human beings that we just show up in their lives. And it's just, for like little sections of it. And we're like, oh, this is the case I dropped in on. This is the shenanigans that we get to see. And it's like, yeah, she might be really mad at you because, like, unfortunately, when you're around, she has to deal with murder.
Yeah. Like, Lou was living her best life. She was just being a waitress at a cafe. She's going out dancing every night, and then I come in and ruin her life. I don't know.
Yeah, but you get her fabulous dresses. You get her she went to Paris. Like, she can't be that mad at you.
And when the 4th book kicks off, this is a little bit of a spoiler. Not really. But she's living in the Ritz in Paris. And like, girl, you can't be mad at me. It's a Ritz. Come on.
No, come on. It's like, those are good circumstances. Those are very good circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the reasons why I was so excited that you suggested doing Dial M for Murder is because you and I both very, very, very much love the clothing and food and things like the very tangible aspects of creating a setting. And I want to start out by talking about the fact that you're like, we have to talk about the dresses. This is like first order of business, the dresses.
So when Emily approached me for this, I was like, oh, I don't know what movie we should do. I thought about it for a little, and I was like, Dial M for Murder. And I was like, we have to spend 20 minutes talking about clothes because I looked up the costume designer's name, but I can't remember it. But it was a guy, so shout out to you, guy.
Is it Adrian?
Oh no! I think I wrote it down and everything, but they're my notes.
Let me look it up real fast.
Okay, I did take notes, but then like halfway through I stopped watching because I was just so into it, and like I haven't seen it in a while. So I was just like, oh, this is such a good movie. But the way Grace's clothes tell a story, costumes get progressively darker as they go on. Of course, in the pivotal scene, her nightgown is like a bright white, and of course she's gorgeous. Like she must have been a dream to dress, and just like a dream to just like costume and like work with, just because she's just beautiful. Of course she became a princess. Of course
she did. You see her in these like when she's got like the 50s circle skirts on and like the very nipped waist, and she's like, the blonde has never been blonder, and she's just so dynamic when she's on screen. You cannot take your eyes away from her. She's just so fascinating looking too, because like I've never met a human being as gorgeous as she is. I don't think most of us have not met human beings that are.
God is not doing whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
God is like not doing. Yeah.
They were like, we're ripping up those plans. We made one. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We're done.
And I like it's weird how often the clothes actually come up in the plot of the movie. There's like stockings are involved. There's a moment where they're talking about her handbag and things like that. And it's like the femininity aspect of Dial M for Murder is essential to the actual movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like that's something you obviously so understand with Viv. Not even just with Viv, but with Viv and all her roommates and Tally. I was gonna say Tommy too, but not really. And like that's something I get because Lou is such a fashion plate, even though she has no reason to be. It's just like clothes tell a story. Side note that like I make my own clothes and like a lot of stuff that I do it's from the 1950s, it's from the 1960s, or is styled to look like that. So clothes are the basic way that somebody like sees the world, I guess. That's silly. I don't think it is because when you like see someone, you're like, oh, like they're just wearing jeans, or oh, she's wearing a dress. Like what? And it shows you the type of person they are. Okay,
Yeah.
small tangent, small tangent. But there was a TV series up here in Canada where I live that took place in the 1920s. But the main character never looked it. She always
I
looked like
hate
she was
that.
from the 1950s.
That's the
Always,
worst.
and like the show wasn't good, but the costuming.
Like, and they're such distinctive silhouettes, you know?
Yeah.
It's so different. The 20s are very columnar, they're very narrow. And it's like the later 50s, it's like you get this
But tell me why
wide
she's wearing pedal
skirts.
pants and a like she's wearing like pedal pushers and like a top like a slash neck top. I'm like, this is wrong.
No.
There was like texting me like, "Oh, have you seen this show?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want
And
it?
do you
you don't."
really want my opinions about it? Because I don't think
There
you
was
do.
there was one episode in the first season where they're kind of trying, but she's like working out with this guy. She's boxing, whatever. She's wearing, I swear to God, a bralette with like an underboob cutout.
No!
Yeah,
So wrong.
I swear to God, I will try to find you pictures. I don't know if I can anymore. I will. Sorry, that was such a tangent. But like, clothing is so important, and it totally sets like where you are and who you are. Like, Chris's character here is a rich housewife. I bought it back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I bought it back. She's a rich housewife. So you see it in like the first like dress she wears, the lace like ballet like length dress with the little bolero on top. That's like her going out dress, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that like you can just see she's made of money through her clothes. It's amazing.
Yeah, and, like, I love the fact that, you know, it'll show her also, like, casual with her husband, like, she's often wearing, like, a nightgown in the apartment because she's at home, you know, and she's
Yeah.
got that sort of relationship with her husband where it's like she there is an intimacy that's really set up with how she will, you know, come out and this is partially Alfred Hitchcock just being like, I want Grace in as little clothing as possible that's allowed in like, you know, screen at the time. But this wasn't made
Yeah.
under the Hays Code. This was a British movie. So it wasn't restricted in the same way that American movies were. He was allowed to take a little bit more liberty. But like, you know, there's a casualness sometimes when she's at home, which you often don't get in Grace movies because she's always held up to be this, you know, like pinnacle, gorgeous, untouchable woman. But here she is, she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm floating around with my robe and my nightgown because like it's just my husband
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
home. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of similar to Rear Window, where like her costumes get like more casual, and like by the end, she's just like in a pair of jeans, which is so cute. I wish I had those jeans.
I know.
Yeah. So, and it's her clothing specifically that like tell the story because like the men are just in suits, and like, do we love men in suits? Yes. Has the silhouette changed that much?
No, exactly. It's still Ray Milland in a suit. And the
Yeah.
casting on this movie is so interesting because Ray Milland is not a sexy guy, like at all. And I'm just like, really? That's the fella you went with to be smarmy husband. I love how you're like, oh, he's been dead for a while. It's
No,
okay.
I'd agree though. I agree though. I mean, if you do know me, I'm obviously just like such a Cary Grant girl.
Yeah,
That like it's hard for me to see anyone else. I mean, obviously there's also Gregory. Gregory Peck is my wallpaper on my phone.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's so much older and he's like puffy too. And you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, leave him, girl, leave him, figure out how to leave him.
But like he does the smarmy so well. And like every move is so slimy.
Mm-hmm.
And there are just like moments that are like, oh, like once you know, and like he's leaving for the night, and he like kisses her or whatever, and he's like, oh God, he's so and you can see he's probably spent he's a year or two planning this,
Yeah.
and honestly, yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
good
don't
work.
murder your wife, please.
Don't
But
murder your
like,
wife, but very thorough. Like there are
yeah,
like avenues like I never thought of. But yeah,
yeah, I know. Like this is such we were like kind of texting about the movie the other day before we were recording, and I didn't realize, like the first couple times I've seen this, I didn't realize how much like Columbo episode it is because it really is a how catch 'em, which is
yeah,
just
yeah,
so
yeah.
fascinating.
He sits down and he tells our guy, our him and guy, the whole plan. And like now you know, but that's like one of his famous things, right? Put the bomb on the table and tell one person, and then the audience is going to be waiting. And like
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever reasonably been able to do that, but like I love just the idea of it. And Hitchcock, I do want to say was like so like clear and like direct in his storytelling that like you know he's gonna do it for a reason, and like you know you're gonna have, and now you're like, okay, well, how is this guy gonna? I was
Mhm.
gonna say flop, but how's this guy gonna be caught?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Columbo. I'm a little too young for it, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah. But Elspeth is a great successor to them, to him,
Yeah.
spiritually, and I love her so much. And hey, another woman who's close to the story.
No lie. Like, I love the fact that when you do write a female sleuth, I feel like you are allowed to get a little bit more in the weeds of those things, which, might be a little bit of sexism talking because, like, everybody always expects, like, a woman tells a story with her clothes, but so do men. They're just not allowed to acknowledge that
Yeah,
they think about it.
yeah. And I will shout out another wonderful author, Frozen, whose Andy Mills series has a male protagonist. He's gay, so he's trying out fashion now, and it's great to like see him make little choices. We do love that. But that's also specifically for the time and the place, San Francisco in the 1950s. He was just a cop, so now he's like trying fashion, and
Yeah.
I love that he made that a plot point because I'm like, I love that for him so much.
Yeah.
Clothes always tell a story, and like I know that's not why we're here, and I get it. I just love clothes.
Part of why we're here is like, I
Small
think.
fraction of why we're here.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, one of the most interesting things about writing books is that you are allowed to really spend a lot of time on details if that's what you really want to draw attention to. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
talk a lot in the first Viv about how much she sweats during the summertime in New York City because, like, New York City in the summertime is freaking miserable.
It
It's
gets so
humid
hot. Yeah.
and disgusting. And so, like, she's talking about the fact that she's in a nipped waist dress. She has to wear a girdle. She has to wear, stockings that you have to clip in because they don't have pantyhose yet. Like, it's a real burden of the clothing that she has to be in order to like present femininity in the way that she's expected to. And so I got to spend a lot of time talking about the layers and the fabrics and how, like, synthetic fabrics, which are kind of new and all the rage at the time in the early 90s, they don't breathe the way silk does. They don't breathe the way cotton does. They're miserable to wear, but it's the cheap and fashionable thing to wear at the time. So you're just kind of like, oh, this is great, but it's a horrible, sweaty plastic prison. Like, it's just awful to be in. And
Yeah.
like, and I know
Yeah.
you go into that too.
Yeah. And I do, or I did have a dress for the 1950s that's just polyester. It is gorgeous, but I'm like, it's so hot. It's so
Yeah.
unbreathable. Oh, God.
Like, I think one of the things that really strikes me about this movie is how artfully it takes place in essentially one room. I love
Yes.
that so
Yes.
much. Like, and Hitchcock is so good about, because some of his movies, you think of North by Northwest, which, like, plot is weak, on that one. We've got Carrie being charming, but plot is weak on that one. But like, it's all over the place. All of a sudden they're in North Dakota and you're like, why? And it's like, because they could and they had the budget for it and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But he's
So,
so good at narrowing. It's amazing.
yeah. So I did tell Ellie this, but I'm not a North by Northwest fan. I just think it's very long. Not my favorite movie, but I do like Cary Grant. But yeah, and like he's done it on purpose, and it's kind of like I wrote in my notes that it's like the evil twin to Rear Window
Yeah.
in a way that's like so. Dial M is a really tight and really claustrophobic, but her window is also very tight, but there's a little bit more space, so it's not as claustrophobic. But you can see in dialogue that he's doing it for a reason, and like you're going along with Grace's character, and she feels like it's getting tighter and it's getting closer. Another good comp for that, of course, is Gaslight.
Mm.
Both the British and the American ones, where the house just seems to get smaller and smaller and smaller as the plot goes on because it's panic and oh my god, something's happened. Yeah. I think it's masterful to be able to use like a set like that. And like when you're outside, you're probably with the detective. And like even so, there's like shots of them watching him from inside, so they're not
Yeah.
even outside. Sorry. It's I'm drinking a Coke, sorry.
Take a time.
I just think it's masterful storytelling that you can't I was gonna say that you can't do in a book, but you probably could.
I
I'm just
feel
not sure how that would work.
Yeah, there's a couple of things about this that I don't know how you get it done in a book. The how catch 'em aspect of it, of someone admitting how they're going to go about murdering their wife, which is like a truly reprehensible, universally reprehensible crime because and especially when it's done on blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like
Yeah.
1950s British.
The most beautiful woman alive, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
dude, that's your wife. Shut up.
And you have all of like the 90s baggage that comes along with that. And he's
Mhm.
struggling with his virility because he's like a former tennis champion. And
Yeah,
you're
it's like
just
I
kind of
can't play tennis anymore, so I'm gonna kill my wife. Oh my
surely that's logical in 1950s
yeah.
masculinity.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, like it's funny how much Alfred Hitchcock has tennis involved in things. Like, not only is it like a very rich, like white ass sport, like it's like
Yeah. Yeah, but it's more like American rich
yeah,
people. Like if it's like British like people, it'd be like polo.
yeah, exactly. And he's just like it's because one of the guys in Strangers on a Train is also like a former tennis pro, and it's just like, oh, the emasculation of no longer being good at tennis. I was like, why does this keep coming up? It's such a weird sport to choose for that.
Seriously though. Oh my god, I'm not gonna tennis anymore. I have to go kill my wife.
Yeah, that's literally like the mental through line for this man, and you buy
Yeah.
it hook, line, and sinker.
To
That
be fair,
like
she is having an affair, but that's not a reason to kill your wife. Just find a divorce lawyer. Even though she is very rich and will leave you, and it will probably be destiny. Don't do murder. Even if you're setting up this thing to set somebody else up for the murder. Which honestly, can we go back to that scene where he's like
yes,
talking to
please do.
okay, I'm so sorry, but it's so masterful because he's so careful and he's like using the cane on one hand and then he uses it on another and then he stops using it altogether. And then he like lets the letter fall and he picks it up and then he's so clear not to touch it. And he's like, if you're gonna touch anything else, wear these gloves. And
Yeah,
you can tell that he's been thinking about this for so long. He's been like weighing it on his options, figuring out what he's gonna do. How does he get the most money? It is really like clever and really masterful in a way. And it's like kind of the same thing we do, but we're not actually gonna do it.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. No, one of the things about it that does work, because if you were writing that in a book, and I don't know if you do it first person, third person, like in what way you do this, because if you were discussing that like in like a narration of like what characters are doing, it would be so obvious. You know what I mean? And like the translation, if you go like, Claude deigned to pick up the letter and point it, and it's just like, I don't know how you do that deftly, but the way it's captured on screen is so delicate that you don't quite notice it. And it's just like, ooh, good job, director. Good job.
Yeah. So I definitely watched this movie for the first time on a plane. It's going back home. And I was just like riveted the whole time. And like of course playing Wi-Fi is not so good, so I kept like Googling the facts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like riveting. It's a film that holds up to so many different rewatches because Hitchcock just layers stuff in, and like there's stuff that like you'll get the second time, stuff you'll get the third time. It's a master. It's great. It's
It
wonderful. Love
is.
it.
I know. It's one of those things where I think a lot of the times I like to write in a way that could be translated to screen. And it's not just because that's where all the money is and you hope to God you get translated to screen at some point.
Listen, I'm starting my own production company. Fifth is up first. Let's go. I'm casting Aaron Tveit as Tommy though. Sorry.
Perfect. No notes. But it does but I think that's something that, like, if your reader is a really diehard book reader, I think it can sometimes make them mad that you're writing, very specifically physical scenes, and you really do sometimes try to put them into a physical space because they can tell that you're kind of writing so it translates well to screen. But I think more and more because we have all now grown up with movies that I'm wondering, like, does it put you off or do you write with like but I also know that a lot of people like can't visualize when they write or read, which blows my mind.
Yeah, I can't. I can't picture
Really?
something. No.
That's so fascinating. Okay, we're going to devolve into a
Wait,
conversation because
can you? Can you?
yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
That's so cool that you get I love that that's not how your brain works. Like, if I walked into Tommy's office, like, in the way I wrote it in Viv, like, I can see absolutely everything, like, that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just have to trust you.
That's
Yeah,
so
I can't see it.
cool. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you're so good at description.
yeah, it's because I have to look stuff up and then describe it.
That's so cool.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, "Oh," but, like, okay, so if you're writing about, like a satin dress, like, you're just kinda like, "No, I know what satin is, so, like, I know it wants to be a
Yeah,
satin
yeah,
dress."
yeah. I've used that and like I've worked with it sewing wise, so like I know like what the feel is and like how it like sits and stuff. But yeah, if I have to look stuff up, I have to look stuff up all the time,
That's so
and like I
cool.
have to keep like I have to keep like lists of like what people look like because I just can't picture them in my head.
That's awesome. That's so neat. That's no, I'm
I
just, like,
mean,
so tickled by this.
oh,
Yeah, like,
it would not say it's neat. It makes my job way harder.
I'm sure it does, actually, like, that sounds very onerous.
Yeah, so it's actually like people have told me that like I write in like a really cinematic way, and like that's something like that's like partially like why my book was picked up for me to write in the first place. They're like, oh, like
Mhm.
this is so like cinematic, but you have the time period and you also like have the story. Like people sometimes just focus on like the time period. I was like, yeah, I did that on purpose, but like I don't think that I write in a cinematic way. I just write, you know.
Yeah. No,
I just
that's so
like try to put the
fascinating.
story down. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. Yeah, like, I have never kept, like, a description of, like, how a person looks. Like, I just know that that's them. And maybe I've screwed up multiple times. Maybe I've been like, "Oh, I thought they had a tattoo on their left shoulder, and now I'm writing that it's on their right shoulder," or something like that. Yeah, no, that's so cool.
You can picture stuff in your head.
Yeah.
God, that must be amazing.
Love it. Like, I'm the one thing that I'm a little fuzzy about is like actual people's faces. So like if you ask me to like picture Grace Kelly in my head, even though I've seen her for hours and hours and hours watching her movies, like things are a little bit blurry. They might be like off a little bit. Like I wouldn't be able to, I can't draw to save my life, but I can like if you tell me like I can see hair, I can see the eye colors, I can see the lip color, I can see dresses and her carriage and stuff like that, but it may not be like an actual like photo representation of Grace Kelly, if that makes sense.
That is so weird. Like I have to like I know she's blonde, but I'd have to look it up. I know she's blonde and very pretty.
Yeah.
That's it.
She's like the hair doesn't move.
No.
I'm trying to think, like, I just love this movie so much because the tension of it is really good. And I wonder if more people would consider it more of a suspense rather than a mystery because
It is it
yeah,
is definitely suspense because he tells us everything within the first 30 minutes. He's like, "I'm gonna kill my wife. You're gonna kill my wife for me. Here's 1,000 pounds.
yeah,
It's gonna be the look briefcase. Yep, let's do it." And like I think that's so masterful because we go in we continue the movie knowing that something's gonna happen, that he's gonna leave for the night and then this man's gonna come and kill her. And also, I do not think that he was expecting her to fight back.
yeah.
Chekhov's pair of scissors.
No lie.
If he had not been like, you should finish my clippings. Also, why does she have to finish hers? Men are
I
so
know.
annoying
I
sometimes.
know.
Like, why does she have to do your clippings for your tennis career? Had he not been like, if he had not done that, the scissors would not have been there and it would have been a fully different story. So thank God for the scissors.
Yeah, no lie. Like, I love how much of this movie is about like femininity in the 50s. It's gonna kill you because, like,
Yeah.
she's so, she's stuck in this house, and the only way she can feel anything is by letter writing to the man that she's having an affair with. Like, God
And then she
Almighty.
burns all the letters except for one.
Yeah, I mean, should have gotten them all, but hindsight. Now we know.
Hindsight is 2020. Yes, yes, yes.
Isn't it just? But, like, she spends her time, like, sewing, like, sewing her nylons, like, she's
Yeah,
doing her sewing because it's just
she's
after the
starting her
war.
socks. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's probably not doing her husband's laundry, but she's doing her husband's laundry. There's a charwoman, there's people, but she's doing all of that. Can't be that fascinating. Can't be that interesting. I'd have an affair too.
Yeah. Especially if, like, my husband was, like, Ray Milland who feels bad about his tennis career. Like, the guy who plays her affair partner, I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. Thankfully, I've got,
I was
IMDb
gonna say
pulled
Alfred
up.
Molina, but I know that's wrong.
That is very wrong. I don't think he'd been born yet, but
I don't know why that name came into my head. I know.
I love Alfred Molina, and he can do a lot, but I don't think he can do that. It's Robert Cummings, who I'd never
Yeah. Okay.
could
Okay.
I name
Also,
another movie he did? No.
who now, who on earth is Alfred Molina? Why did he? Okay, it's fine. Why
Alfred
did this
Molina
random man?
played Inspector Gamache in the Amazon Three Pines series.
Yeah, okay. Why this man came into my head at this point? I don't know,
I don't know.
but it's
He's very charming, and I do think that he was the perfect casting for Inspector Gamache, but
yeah,
But
yeah.
this guy is I think it's funny that a lot of the times when Alfred Hitchcock has, like, a guy that you're gonna throw your life away for, like, he's not really that compelling, like, at all.
No, I know. Okay, I do think though that he was probably having the time of his life. He's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
the murder. He's
because
like,
he's
oh
a
my
murder
god,
mystery
mystery.
author writer.
Yes, and I love that like little like mediment. Like, oh, she's hooking up with a murder mystery author. He probably based a character off her in every one of his books. And then
Probably.
after he dies, people will probably be like, "Oh, well, who's that woman?" And then they'll be like, "Do you not know?"
Yeah, exactly. She
Like,
was married.
yeah, same. Yeah, I love the men. Like, he's probably like making notes, and like, there's even a point like before the action happens where they're talking about the perfect murder, and like, oh, like I do the perfect murder, and like that's essentially what this movie is trying to do, the perfect murder. So many things go wrong for him that you can learn to watch too much and it breaks.
I think I love that this movie, like, really acknowledges that, like, murder is a it's so messy. Like, we always try to craft crimes that are like, "Oh, perfect and pristine," and things like that, and it's just like, it's never gonna be, because if it's a crime of passion, which all murder is, it can never be clean because it's always an emotionally driven, crime to do. If you're stealing stuff, it can be done perfectly because there's not the same usual, like, emotions involved in this, but murder is always an emotional crime. It's a very, intense thing to do.
Yeah, and it also shows that you could spend years trying to plan the perfect murder, and you can wind your watch wrong, and everything will go wrong.
Mhm.
Like, also, I know I just said this, but he definitely did not think she was gonna fight back,
No.
and I don't know why he thought that. Like, do you not see her? um,
Right? Like,
maybe he was just like she's so passive, like she's not gonna do anything. But like the victim's always gonna fight.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just that weird, like, sexist masculinity myth that, like, my wife does whatever I tell her to do. It's like
Yeah,
he so thoroughly buys into the idea that, like, my wife, like that dumb biblical thing where it's like the man is the head of the family.
yeah,
And then you always
yeah,
get,
yeah,
like,
yeah. A woman is Adam's rib.
yeah, exactly. And, like, the sassiest rejoinder you can get is always like, "Yeah, but the woman is the neck," and she, like, tells the head where to look, and it's just like, "You all believe that?" Like, she's a human being, she's a
Yeah,
person, like, no
she's
matter
a
how.
person with thoughts, feelings, and interests. Like maybe she
What?
doesn't want to die. Did you think of that? Maybe she doesn't want to die. And
Right?
like he's controlling the hitman, he's controlling his wife, like they're little characters in a play. It's like, I know exactly what everyone is going to do because I have thought this out so much, and then I will be able to take my money and leave. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
So nice try.
One of my favorite, like, meta things about this is, like, the fact that, he's a tennis pro. That's what his everything that he's done in his life has been, like, physical success. And he has this mentality that everyone involved in this crime and this scenario that he's been writing in his head is going to act as though they are following the lines and the path that he has written for them. He's like the murderer. He's like, "Oh, I know about your debts and I know about your shame. So you're going to act like how I suspect you will for the shame that you want to hide." And he's like, "My wife is just here to be my pawn and to be my trophy because I'm such an elite tennis pro. And so she's going to act how I want her to act. And the crime writer is going to act how I want him to act." And to an extent they do. But the crime writer is the one going, "I know how people act. I'm the person who writes this into stories. So I know that they're not going to follow the prescriptive trail." And you're just like flipping them on their heads. I love it
And
so
he
much.
was having the time of his life. He was trying to hide it, but I know he was. I just think, oh, yeah, same.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's like right there with the detective too, and he's like, "But what about this? And what about this?" And it's so fun to see because he's like putting everything he's like researched into like practical use, and he's
Mhm.
like, "I can do this too." Yeah, I love it. I love him. Good for
Yeah.
him.
I mean, again, like the some of the like some of the actors are like absolute nothing burgers. Like they're like, unfortunately, like the Ray Milland is very good at being smarmy. This poor Robert Cummings man who might be very famous, and I might be totally wrong, but like he's kind of like a kind of like he's just douche.
Yeah, but it does work for this film though, kind of, because he's just like a guy. He's just a guy. I just looked it up. He has his own. He was on Bewitched. For one episode. For one episode. Yeah, I read. I mean, take it with a grain of salt because it's the IMDb trivia. But they wanted Cary Grant to play Ray Milland's role, and I would have loved to
Yeah,
think that would have gone so hard.
I
I think Cary Grant would have been at least 30% sexier as a villain, even though I know he's trying to kill his wife. I would be like, I would love to be this wife.
yeah.
I really love Cary Grant.
Yeah, no, no, like there's nothing in my mind that Cary Grant can't do. Like
Yeah.
he's literally the perfect actor, like in my mind.
Oh my god, I know. Oh my god, I know.
Like I really wish they had gotten him for this. Lord knows what he was doing in 1954, like that he
Yeah,
didn't
no, I
do
think he
the
just
part.
turned it down because he's like, I don't want to do the villain. There's another movie that I watched. I cannot remember the title of it. I want to say maybe it's Notorious, but he like kind of plays a villain, and
Yeah,
they're like
he's not
kind
a
of
great guy
alluding
in
to
it.
it. Yeah, and they're like, oh, like maybe the drink is poison, but she doesn't drink it. So like they're
Mhm.
not going all the way into making him a villain. And like I would have liked that movie a way, way, way more if like he had been the villain, like if he had been the murderer. Because we're
Yeah.
like, it's too in the middle. In Canada, we say, I don't know if you guys say it, but like that's sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fencing.
Yeah,
Get
he's
off the
totally
fence.
fence sitting. Yeah. Like he Notorious is one of my favorite Hitchcock movies. It's really phenomenal. It's got one of my favorite actors in it. It's got Claude Rains in it, and he's playing like a former
Mm.
Nazi. And it's a really, really phenomenal movie. But again, it's not a mystery in any way, shape, or form. It is just purely like it's purely a suspense movie. And it's like it's really well done. And that's probably one of the smarmiest Cary Grant has ever been because he's like so in love with Ingrid Bergman's character of Ilsa, and he's
I
just kind of
mean,
like, "But I
same
might
though.
sacrifice you to a Nazi," and you're just kind of like,
I
"Oh,
mean, yeah,
bad move, buddy. Don't do that. Not great."
yeah, and yeah, it's been a long time since I watched that one, but I mean, I would watch Cary Grant
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah, I would absolutely watch Cary Grant like plan to murder his wife and be like, "Hey, you know what though? Like she was cheating on him." Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I always wonder like how like the movie like would be different if it's like just like a different. Obviously, it would be. I'm like I feel like he'd have more like charm and like charisma, and I want to be on his side a little bit more. I mean, this is my bias for Cary Grant talking. I know that. I know that I am the number one Cary girl in this apartment. I live alone. It's just me. This is a Cary Grant loving house. I just even if it doesn't have Cary Grant, I do think that this is such a good film. And like you see Hitchcock's storytelling rules in action, which I think are masterful. And I love seeing them in action.
yeah. I feel like this is one of his movies that's the most sympathetic to like the concept of womanhood. And I know like he's real, notoriously, he's just kind of like women, they suck because they don't want to sleep with me. And it's just like, we get
Yeah,
it, Alfie. We know what's up.
women, women are good for sex,
And
and
that's
that's
it.
about it.
Yeah.
There's a oh yeah,
Yeah.
he says stuff like that a lot. He's like, whatever for sex, look at that.
I mean, like, Psycho is extremely anti-Janet Leigh, and you have,
Oh, yeah,
like
okay, but very quickly, speaking of Psycho, in the beginning, I would say spoilers, but this movie's been out for forever. She's wearing white underwear when you see her, but then she robs the bank, and then she's wearing black underwear because she's bad! Like,
yes,
seriously?
your underpants tell you everything. It's like, you know that line in 10 Things I Hate About You where they're, like, rummaging through Julia Stiles'
Yay!
and they're like, "Oh, black underwear," and he's like, "What, black underwear?" And he's like, "You don't own black underwear unless you want someone to see it." I was like, "Ah, dang, you read us like a book. That's you know."
Yep, yep, that's it. Yeah, but Janet Leigh gets stabbed to death in a shower. Did you know? This is another tangent. Did you know that Psycho is the first movie to feature a toilet flushing on screen?
No, I didn't know that.
It is.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No,
Yeah, and it's like obviously it's just the paper in the toilet, but yeah.
yeah. But, like, the things that they find taboo in the 90s, like, always confuses me. Like, it really, really
Yeah.
does. I will
Yeah.
never understand how they manage to, like, obfuscate, like, really normal stuff. Like, they don't smooch. Like, stuff like that really bothers me. Like, they don't like each other. They're married, and they clearly don't like each other. Why?
They're married, but they have two single beds.
Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't
Yeah,
understand
like
it.
Lucy couldn't say that she was pregnant. She was with child. She was in the family way.
Yeah.
She couldn't say the P word. People would hate that.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make any sense. I think one thing about this movie that I genuinely love is that a lot of people don't see Grace Kelly as a good actor. And I'm like, no, she brings it. This movie is all on her very narrow, bony shoulders, and she nails it. I don't think this movie would be anything if she wasn't the lead.
Do people really think that Grace Kelly is a bad actress?
Yeah.
She went in, she did her like 8 films or 10 films, whatever, and left. And she's a great actress. And like just to consider that like her family did not want her to go into acting and like she defied them. Her very like rich like waspy family,
Yeah.
I think. The camera loves her. She's so pretty, and she like it's just the way she like talks and like holds herself. Like I wish I had that type of posture. And like she shines on screen. She's a bad actress.
I know. I
If
know.
you
Like,
think Grace Kelly is a bad,
I think that she definitely got typecast a lot, but,
yeah,
you
but
know
everyone did. Like look at Marilyn Monroe. She was typecast as the dumb blonde, even though like her turn in Don't Bother to Knock is amazing, and she should have done more thriller things. And like
yeah,
she was just seen as like a sex symbol or like a dumb blonde.
yeah. Even though
Then
she was
like that,
really smart too, like
yeah, yeah, she read so much. She was so funny. She was so like she's so good in Don't Bother to Knock, and like that movie's all her. We're so far with Talent for Murder, and I'm so sorry for that.
I don't care. These conversations go where they go.
That is so true. This is actually not scripted, if you could believe it. But yeah, so her turn in Don't Bother to Knock is fantastic. It's one of her like earlier films, and it is just breathtaking what she manages to do. And like by the end, like you're so with her, and it's incredible. But no, she's just a hottie. She's just hot. She's just hot and blonde and dumb. And
Yeah,
like that's the same thing that happened to Grace Kelly. She's just blonde, and like it's because casting directors are not seeing these women as people. They're
I
seeing
know.
them as tropes.
I know.
It's
I
like
know.
it must be so frustrating. Like it is so frustrating to be pigeonholed into one thing.
Yeah. It must be like and it happens more than I even realized. Like even years ago, I was listening to this interview with Lawrence Fishburne and he was like, "Oh, I'm always cast as a father figure." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Even when I was like 22 because I had this voice, he was like, I'm
Yeah,
always
yeah,
cast as someone's dad." And I was just like,
yeah,
oh my God, that had never occurred to me because like his work is so varied, but it's always like a parental figure and
yes,
like a leadership figure. And I was just, and he has to take
yes,
care of someone. And I was just like, "Ah, that sucks for you, man. Cause like
yeah.
you're
He is.
like, he's amazing, but it
Yeah,
never occurred to
he's
me."
also Papa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so frustrating. Think about what Marilyn Monroe would have been able to do if she hadn't been typecast. Grace Kelly had other things going on. Um,
Yeah.
she married a prince. Great for her. I love the photo of her leaving the studios for the last time, and she just has a bunch of clothes with her. Girl, same. But she's also fantastic on screen, and like she just lights up in a way that's so breathtaking. it's less apparent here because it's a thriller, but in like
Yeah.
To Catch a Thief, there are scenes in To Catch a Thief that like made me pause and just be like, oh my
Yes.
god,
That's like to me like the dreamiest Hitchcock movie. Like To Catch a Thief
for sure.
is is just like pure fantasy, and that is like to be able to capture that essence of like the caper is just so delightful. It's like
Yeah,
the dreamiest one.
yeah, and the costumes went off. Thank you, Edith Head.
Mhm.
And it's just like, and like there's just something she wears on. She's just so luminous, and honestly, I think she's not a bad. I can't believe that people think she's a bad actress. And no, I'm stuck on this point because like
No, I
who says
know.
that?
I know. She's done some stinky movies, but like they were not
Yeah, sure.
because
Who
of
hasn't?
her. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who hasn't? Yeah,
I think it's a lot of people who are jealous. Let's be honest here. It's like you're just jealous of the hot woman who married a prince. Like, you know what? Get
yeah,
over it. Get over it.
yeah.
Like you don't have to take your anger out on poor Grace Kelly.
And
Your
in high
face, you're
society,
like, how could someone say that?
I know. If you think Grace Kelly's a bad actress, please meet me outside by the bike racks. I would like to fight.
Mhm.
I'm pretty scrappy.
I I do have to admit that normally I bristle a little bit at like things that require a lot of police as part of like the plot line because I always want like a cozy or a private investigator or something like this. But the
Yeah,
fact that they keep, like the mystery writer as like always over the cop's shoulder, I'm like that
yeah,
helps a little bit. But the cops in this are frustrating because they're so dumb. And they're, at least they
yeah.
got away from the Hays Code stuff where it's like the Hays Code, you always had to show cops as being like smart and capable. And it's like, nah, they were dumb. They were just really dumb.
Yeah, and it's like it is frustrating to watch, but I also think that's like added insight because we know what happened, and the cops are just coming in like, oh, what to do?
Yeah.
To do? She killed this man. But what I really like is Ray Miliband trying to manipulate the cops in his own
Hmm.
way, and he's like, maybe this happened, or maybe this happened. Maybe they were trying to get the cops. I'm absolutely not aware like how long he spent like trying to plan this murder out.
I
For it to all
know.
go wrong. And like that's like the crux of the thing. Like we spend so much time like doing this, but like it's all gonna go wrong, and you just have to figure out like how it's gonna go wrong. But yeah, he is frustrating. I do like that Ray Cummings was there to be like, actually though. I love the point too with the key, and like he just like he fumbles and like puts the key back in her bag when he kisses her to take the key from her change.
Oh, I know. I know.
And you know he's just doing it to get the key, and you're like, oh my god.
That is something that I think is like really well done in this. That again, it would be impossible to put into a book, I think, is the actual like
It's just
heartlessness of it.
yeah, I have no idea how you do that in a book unless you're doing like a third person, like
Yeah.
way out type omniscient type of view. But even then, but like Hitchcock puts it on screen so naturally because like oh he's so playful and he's like kissing his wife, but just to kiss her, to get her purse, to get her key, to put it underneath the thing.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of that would be similar in its level of like coldness is probably Gone Girl, but she's
Hmm.
so twisted. This is so like sedate and normal and like there's nothing ostentatious about it. Like there's no like grand, and I'm going to run away and dye my hair and get this millionaire in the loop of suspects and things like that. And it's just like that was so outside the realm of what could be possible and normal. This is so domestic. This is so tangible because it is husband wife, one apartment, one
Yeah,
entrance,
husband
one
wife.
exit.
Yeah, yeah. And like that's what I really like about it too. I mean, obviously, I am a Gone Girl stan. Amy Elliott Dunn was right. I will not take any other like saying same girl. But like, it really is the normalcy that like really shakes you because like this is her husband. I mean, sure, it's not right to cheat on your husband, but it's also not right to spend like 2 years planning your wife's murder because she's having an affair
Yeah.
because you feel so emasculated by your finished tennis career. Imagine what life was like, what life would be like if you just had therapy.
Yeah.
He would not go to
Exactly.
therapy, but
Men will create an elaborate 2-year scheme to hire a down and out man who needs to sell his car to murder Grace Kelly, who's his hot wife, who has tons of money, who's more than happy to continue to share it with you. But like, rather than, go to therapy about no longer being able to play tennis.
Yeah. And like, he'd be like, "Ugh, I don't need therapy. I'm fine. I'm mentally fine." Bro, no, you're not. You're
No,
lying
you're
awake
not.
at night trying to figure out what, like, you're trying to figure out, like, where she should, like, how to do this. Like, you are spending so much time just thinking about it. You're not mentally fine.
Like,
I forget what I was
no, but it also feels like I like one of the reasons, like one thing I genuinely like about this and is that it's not set in America and that they
Mhm.
are British and they are British upper crust. And it does come with that like expectation of like the stiff upper lip, like British person where you really can't talk about your feelings or your failures in
Yeah.
any way. And the fact that she is having an affair with another American who's probably, even though American men in the 90s were not particularly like verbose about their feelings, like he's seen as like a messy American. Like he's not British. He is someone who is like allowed to talk about love and passion and things like that more than or the British older man is. And I'm like, it's really quite something to me that Alfred Hitchcock and the screenwriters decided to make that difference and really highlight it in the film.
Yeah, and I do think that's to the film's benefit too, because it also kind of just gives like a fish out of water type thing.
Yeah.
If you kind of get what I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and like, and that also just goes to like the feeling of claustrophobia in this film because it's just the one place, it's just the one thing. Uh,
Yeah, and, like, the cops really can't fathom the idea that this man, arranged to have his wife murdered, and they have to have it be, like, outside because he's them, they're him.
yeah,
It's just so it must have been really glaring for 1954. Like, I
mm,
know Hitchcock by this point has already been doing a lot of, thrillers and murder mysteries and things like that, and he's already been really upending people's societal expectations. But, this is again like another thing that must have just been like wrench in the works. Ha ha ha. Like to think that these sort of domestic disputes when poverty isn't involved or it's just they're rich, how could they have problems?
yeah,
Hitchcock's
yeah.
just like more than you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I would also, yeah, rich people have a ton of problems. I'm not. I would love to be rich, yes, but
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
acknowledge that they do also have problems, and like it's so glaring that like obviously neither of them are happy. And like how they choose to tackle that is interesting because she just has an affair. He daydreams about murder.
Yeah,
He does
exactly.
murder, and like that is so male coded too. Like once
Mhm.
for maybe the third time, don't cheat on don't cheat on your spouse, but like also don't kill your spouse. I'm like I understand having an affair more than planning a murder for like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. One of those things is like doesn't lead to death. It's just like one of
Yeah,
those things, they're both irreversible, but don't
yeah,
murder
yeah.
people. Like, don't murder people. Like, but you are right that the idea of like having to deal with the embarrassment and the humiliation of not making money, not being a tennis pro, and having your wife cheat on you. Like, murder is a very male coded response to that. You rarely get women who are like, oh, my husband's, out with some floozy. So, what I'm going to do when he comes home is have someone take him out. Like, that's not
Right?
how women
I mean,
deal with it.
I do think in work. I do think it would a woman though, and I don't know if that's just like women are hot and villains are hot.
I had never thought about like a gender flipped dial M. Like, do you think like would it be the same plot beat for beat?
I mean, I don't. It couldn't be, but I think it could be pretty similar. I mean, this is just like I don't know. I think I'd like to see it though.
Yeah. No, I'd never thought about that because like so many of Hitchcock's movies are so they're like we mentioned on this one. It's like so deeply gendered. It's so
Yeah,
deeply
it's
about
so male coded. He is
yeah.
so male coded. And like I get it. He's a man. He's a man in the 1950s. He's a rich white man in the 1950s. He's gonna only be male centered. And then like women are just kind of like ornaments to him, or like just like
Yeah.
things that are around. Not
Yeah.
even really people. I do wonder. I mean, maybe if it's not even like the same plot, it's like still like a plot to put like murder her husband. Like I feel like that could kind of slap.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, that's so interesting. Like,
I do
I
think Gillian Flynn could do it. But I
yeah,
couldn't. Maybe
yeah,
Gillian.
me neither.
Is she
I'm
busy?
yeah. Like, I asked this about when I talked to Lawrence Allen about The Thin Man. We were like, "Oh, like, if you were gonna remake it, like, would you do you have anybody in mind if you were gonna remake Dial M for Murder? Like, who could you see?"
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. For some reason, my brain was just like Daniel Craig. But no, those are completely different movies, Nekesa. Hang on.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, as Ray Milland's character or, like, the
Yeah,
boyfriend?
no, as a the alternate
Scheme
character, but
murderer.
like, yeah, 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 but like, he already does that. I don't know, but that's also because like I kind of don't. I I kind of don't know who's starring and stuff these days.
I know, I can't name you any actors underneath the age of 30. I really can't. Like
Seriously, I mean, I could if they're on stage, but not on screen.
yeah. Ooh, that would be fascinating. Yeah. I love the
Yeah.
containment of this, like, it's a locked room mystery, like, it's so there's so much happening here, and again, in, like, such a contained movie that, like, I love movies that are so bare bones, that are just so everything extraneous has been stripped away. It's something that is, again, really difficult to do in books, but that's why these wonderful things exist on screen.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, it's also like the like evil twin to Rear Window because Rear Window is the same thing. Like all the music in Rear Window is diegetic, which is my favorite fact. And like I know everyone knows that. But I'm like, all the music in Rear Window is diegetic. It is all happening. I just think that's such a feat. It's just incredible to me. But yeah, it's like the same like small place and like you're looking out of the windows and like in Dublin you're like in the apartment and like you barely leave it. And I just think it's such masterful storytelling. It's such interesting storytelling. He would not respect me as a woman, as an author or anything.
Probably not, no.
But no, he would not. But like I totally see what he's doing and like I always like love a Hitchcock film, except for North by Northwest. Just because like he keeps the suspense, he keeps the tension, he like you're gonna start something and like you're gonna go for the ride. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so interesting. Like, yeah, it's great. It's great work.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about this. How can everybody keep in touch with you and your work?
Yeah, so I am Nekesa Writes Books on Instagram and Threads and anywhere you I mean not Twitter anymore, basically just Instagram and Threads. And yeah, hope to see you around.
Thank you so much.